Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Detroit.
Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is presented by
Bell Tire.
When the Tigers were last year in mid-June, well, Mother Nature was not cooperating. Rain forced the postponement of Game 2 in that series, so tonight we'll make it up. It's a beautiful night for baseball here at Great American Ballpark, featuring the Detroit Tigers and the Cincinnati Reds. Hi again, everyone. Welcome to Tigers Baseball. Mario and Pemba, Rod Allen, glad you're with us here for this quick stop to Cincinnati. Also, our final interleague game of the season, Rod. And for J.D. Martinez, he has loved interleague play this year.
He really has. I mean, for whatever reason, whenever a National League opponent shows up, J.D. Martinez just kind of goes off to the tune of 7 home runs this year, a batting average of .364, and that OPS, that would be on base percentage and slugging percentage over 1,000. That's really good, people. And he just does not pick left field to go deep. He goes deep to center field, also right field and left field. J.D. Martinez has had a wonderful year, and when you come to a ballpark like this particular ballpark where hitters just love to hit and the ball flies out of the ballpark, this could be a special night for J.D. Martinez. He might just trot around the bases tonight.
He might just do it, too. Well, when we last saw the Cincinnati Reds, they were a much different team than they are right now, obviously, because of a lot of the trades they made. But the one guy they do still have in the middle of their lineup is Joey Votto, and he's pretty good.
You know, Votto is their Miguel Cabrera. He has an on-base percentage nearly .450, which is what Miggy usually sits at. He walks all the time. As a matter of fact, already 100 walks this season for Joey Votto. But he's got mad power the opposite way. He's got a great swing. He's got tremendous balance throughout his swing, too. Keeps the head down. It makes a lot of really good contact. To go along with that .442 on-base percentage, he's already left the building 23 times. They haven't had a whole lot of bright spots this year in Cincinnati, but Joey Votto definitely is a bright spot for the Cincinnati Reds.
And on the mound tonight for the Tigers, it'll be Buck Farmer, who's trying to make another positive impression down the stretch here. For Buck, they're really not sure. Is he a starter? Is he a reliever? And I guess we're still trying to figure that out.
Well, next 5 weeks are going to be crucial for the big league career of Buck Farmer. We all know that he has that fastball that will get up into the mid-90s. He has an above-average changeup, too. So that gives you 2 pitches. That's plenty enough to win at this level, but to dominate as a starter, you have to have that third pitch, which is a slider. He has a good slider, but every now and then, as Brad told us before the game today, he will overthrow that pitch. He just needs to back off of that pitch a little bit. Fastball 95, maybe breaking ball 85, 86. That will give him the proper differential in speeds, and if he's able to do that, he'll be a starter in the big leagues. If not, he'll be in that bullpen.
All right, stay with us. Tigers and Reds just minutes away. After a short break, we'll send you back to the Call Sam Studios. Check in with Mickey York. Coming up in this one tonight, Miguel Cabrera and Joey Votto might be the headliners, but there's still plenty of other big bats in the lineup. Stay with us. Tigers Reds next. makeup game. The Tigers starting lineup includes Miguel Cabrera tonight, as you would expect. Brought to you by the Southeast Michigan Ford dealers. And for the Tigers, it'll be Ghost, Kinsler, and Cabrera at the top. Of course, Kinsler leads Major League Baseball in multi-hit games. J.D. Martinez, Tyler Collins, Nick Castellanos in the middle. Bottom three of Avila, Romine, and Buck Farmer with no DH in the lineup here in this game. And they are facing the right-handed offerings of Kivas Sampson.
And Sampson making his fifth start at the major league level. He has a fastball, mostly four-seamers that get up to 96 miles an hour. Average heater right around 93. He's got a knuckle curveball, a slider, and also a changeup, part of his four-pitch mix.
So Anthony Ghost will start things off for the Tigers here. It'll be Ghost, Kinsler, and Cabrera. The Tigers a quick jaunt to Cincinnati. They'll head back home tonight after the ball game. Here's the first pitch of tonight's game. It's ball one to Anthony Ghost. Ghost, so for his last 7, he is hitting .254 with 3 home runs this year. Sampson's 1-0 pitch is fouled straight back. 1 ball, 1 strike. How about this? It is 72 degrees here in Cincinnati tonight.
Spectacular evening here.
It's a great way to put it. It really is spectacular. Of course, the last time we were here, we had to take a boat back to the hotel. It rained so much.
You got that right.
Here's the 1-1 pitch. 2-1 now on Anthony Ghost.
If you're Ghost, you got to be sitting on that 90, 91 mile per hour fastball. You had a favorable count in 1-0, but you were tardy on the fastball, so you should have a pretty good idea of the velocity already here, Mr. Sampson.
Ghost pops it up foul, back out of play.
I was talking to Ghost just a couple of days ago, and he admitted that he had been struggling, really not able to figure out why he has not been able to jump on these fastballs. Here's another fastball that's right down the middle, about 90 miles an hour, and you could see the bat looping underneath it.
Here's the 2-2. Just missed 3-2.
And when you see a bat loop the way that his was on that 2-1 fastball, that's really easy to correct. Really what you need there is just a stronger top hand. Now, that top hand will allow you to get through that strike zone a little bit more quicker than if you're using that bottom hand most of it.
And again, it's popped up. Let's see if it finds the seats, and it will be caught right up against the railing by Todd Frazier.
Let's take a look at the Cincinnati Reds starting defense. It is brought to you by Tim Hortons. Right to left, they've got Bruce, Borges, and Schumacher. Up the middle, they have Suarez and Phillips. On the corners, they have Frazier and Votto. Barnhart, he is the catcher. 62 errors committed this year by the Cincinnati Redlegs, which is the 5th fewest in the majors.
So here is Ian Kinsler, who continues to swing it. He has a 6-game hitting streak going right now. Ian batting a solid .304. And he looks at a strike from the right-hander Sampson.
And Kinsler hit nearly .360 in the month of July, and he's continued that 20 days into August. He's been on fire.
That is popped up foul, back out of play. Well, Kinsler certainly has put together a tremendous second half. He's typically a fast starter and then not as good a second half, but it's been switched this year. And all he's done is hit. In fact, he has 150 hits this season, tied for the most in the American League. That is pulled to left field, base hit. Kinsler is aboard with a 1-out single.
And Sampson did Ian a favor there. He has a knuckle curveball, and he likes to throw that curveball a lot of times to the right-handers when runners are in scoring position. But he hangs that one right over the dish. And as hot as Ian is right now, he's not going to miss that pitch.
So with 1 on, here is Miguel Cabrera. 374 in the second half for Kinsler.
And speaking of not missing many pitches, since Miguel Cabrera came off the disabled list, boy, he's getting 2 hits a day.
Well, he hasn't missed any, it seems. Even the outs he makes are extremely hard hit.
He's truly an amazing talent.
Eyeing another batting title, just needs enough plate appearances, which he should be able to do if he's able to go there in the starting lineup most of the rest of the way. 367 right now for Cabrera. Sampson's 0-1. 1 ball and 1 strike. You would figure that when a guy misses 6 weeks, and I don't care if he's the best hitter on the planet or not, he would take, I don't know, maybe 3-4 games just to get his stroke back. Not Miguel.
And when you add in the fact that he did not go down to the minor leagues on a rehab assignment.
Cabrera looks at a strike on the outer edge.
They played in a simulated game. I believe it was in Kansas City, and Gorzolani was the pitcher, and Miggy saw about, what, 15 pitches?
That was it.
And then a few days later, he's in the starting lineup.
And since coming off the disabled list, there you go, 500. 17 for 34. Here's the 1-2. Outside, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Kiva Sampson is 24 years old, born in Gainesville, Florida. He is part of a rotation now that has really been remade here in Cincinnati with the trades of Johnny Cueto and Mike Leake.
And Brett Alkins gave us a pretty nice scouting report on Mr. Sampson today, because they were both in the San Diego Padres organization at the same time.
Low. Full count now, 3-2. Sampson had quite a few really good seasons in the minor leagues with San Diego.
I think that Brad Ausmus has enough trust in Miguel Cabrera to start Ian Kinsler with 1 out on the 3-2 pitch coming from Sampson.
Runner goes, and a foul back out of play. Kinsler will retreat. Tigers check in tonight at 59-64, 5 under the 500 mark. With time dwindling here in the second half, the month of August is rapidly winding down. September right around the corner. What, 39 games left? Is that right?
Season has flown by, really.
And this time a toss back to first base.
If you're Ian Kinsler and you are running on this next delivery from Sampson, what you need to do is get a maximum lead and get the best possible jump that you can get, just in case Miguel does strike out, and you can give yourself the best opportunity of swiping the bag.
Runner goes again, and it's drilled to right field. Slicing, that ball is going to get up against the wall in the corner. Kinsler on his way to third base. They're going to stop him there. Dave Clark put up the stop sign. It looked like Kinsler might come around, and Cabrera will get himself a single for that ball hit to the corner.
Just about every last one of the 17 hits, now 18 hits that Miguel has gotten since coming off the disabled list have gone either up the middle or the opposite way. Look at the concentration there. The head down on the baseball. It's a fastball that's up in the strike zone, whistle down in the corner. Ian Kinsler was on the move, and I thought he was going to have a chance to score. But Dave Clark did not want to run him into it out at home plate, especially with J.D. Martinez in the batter's box, and as well as J.D. has done against National League opponents.
So Martinez will bat with runners at first and third. Only 1 out. J.D. at .287 this year. And a ball low and away, 1 out.
And Sampson likes to go to breaking balls in this particular count. We told you he has a knuckle curve, and when runners are in scoring position, that's the pitch of choice against right-handed bats.
Tucker Barnhart flashing the signs behind the dish. And Martinez strokes one in the air deep into left center field. That ball is hit well, and that ball is going to go. It is out of here. A 3-run homer for J.D. Martinez, and the Tigers have come out swinging tonight.
We talked about J.D. Martinez at the top of our show and the fact that he now has 8 home runs in interleague play this year. For whatever reason, when they go up against a National League team, he is at his best, and that is good to see the Tigers get on the board first here against Sampson. That is a fastball, center cut at 93, right down the middle. You might get away with those pitches in the minor leagues, but you will not get away with those up here in the big leagues.
J.D. crushed that ball. 33rd home run of the season to give the Tigers an early lead. Tyler Collins swings and misses.
And the last couple of days, Saturday and Sunday, the Tigers were 2 for 9 with runners in the scoring position on both of those days. And today they're 1 for 1, and it's a big one by J.D.
Collins looks at a ball low, and the count now goes 1-1. He's going to bring the catcher onto the mound.
J.D., he made us look like geniuses at 7 o'clock today when we talked about what he was going to do. Didn't I say he was going to trot today?
You said, top of the show, he's got a good chance of doing it. 33rd of the year. Interleague numbers have been really good, and J.D. Martinez, man, that thing was right on a tee for him, wasn't it?
Grab my hand so I stop patting myself on the back, please.
Don't break your arm. 2 balls, 1 strike now on Tyler Collins. He's hit safely in 7 of his last 9. Collins takes inside, and the rocky, bumpy start for Sampson continues. The 3-1 in there, 3-2 on Collins. So the Tigers without Victor Martinez tonight because of the lack of DH have gotten off to a nice start regardless offensively. High fly ball, shallow left field. Schumacher coming in, and Collins retired. 2 gone. How about the Bernstein advantage for J.D. Martinez? Here it is in interleague play. 8 home runs now for J.D. Nelson Cruz has 9 leading interleague hitters.
And one more look at the pretty swing of J.D. Martinez. Fastball right down the middle, got some lift. And this is a really good ballpark to hit in. The ball does fly here.
Here's Castellanos. Nick swings and misses 0-1. The Martinez homer, 398 feet, so just a couple of feet shy of 400. Nick at 246. That one slides outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. This is a Reds team that is really struggling. They are 51-71. They've lost 9 consecutive games. And the Tigers already have put 3 on them here in the first. Check swing high. 2-1.
It looks like Sampson, a lot like a lot of young starters. When you are in the big leagues and you are struggling and you're not having your way, it appears that most young pitchers try to overthrow. Instead of throwing a changeup or throwing a curveball, he is simply trying to overpower the Tigers with fastballs. Good pitch, good breaking ball.
2-2. Castellanos in his last 6 games, 9 RBIs. Now the 2-2. Way outside. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Sampson filling one of the rotation spots after the trades of Johnny Cueto and Mike Leake. There's Avila waiting on deck. So both of these teams have seen aces go to other teams at the deadline. There's a high drive into deep left field. Schumacher back, track, wall, and that ball is gone. Castellanos with the Tigers' 2nd home run of the inning. Ooh, they're teeing off on Sampson. 4-0.
That ball looked like it was up in the strike zone as well. J.D. Martinez, his ball was above the belt buckle. That home run hit there by Castellanos, that was above the belt buckle. So Sampson having a difficult time of getting the ball down, which is an absolute must, especially playing in this yard.
Here is Avila. He looks at a strike. 14th home run of the year for Castellanos, and it came on a 3-2 pitch. And it ended up in the seats and left. 4-0. Tigers have the early lead. Avila straightens up on a ball high. 1-1. Martinez and Castellanos with the home runs for Detroit. They play the shift against Avila here. And that slides in for a strike. 1-2. Well, add to those numbers now in his last 7 games, 10 RBIs, 3 home runs. And Wally Joyner just nodding yes. Yep, that's how you do it.
Yep, whatever you say.
And Avila takes inside. 2-2 the count. This has really turned into a lengthy inning for Kiva Sampson. He's about to throw his 35th pitch. And here it is. Fouled away.
The left-handers are tardy on the fastball. Collins was tardy on the fastball. Ghost was tardy on the fastball. Alex also a little tardy on the Sampson fastballs. But the right-handers, absolutely no problem getting to the heater. Miggy, Castellanos, and of course JD.
Again the 2-2. Another foul back. Avila getting the call behind the dish tonight. Also Romine playing short, so Iglesias and McCann get the night off.
And Brad indicated that someone, he didn't say who, but there will be a couple of other regulars that get the night off tomorrow when they start that 3-game series against the Los Angeles Angels, who are probably resting very comfortable in Detroit right now.
I would say so. Here's the 2-2 again, and it's low. 3-2. Tigers Angels start that series tomorrow night, and then it's back on the road. Full count on Avila. This is the 7th man to bat in the inning. And he drives one to right field. That's going to get down a base hit. And maybe more. Let's see. It is cut off by the right fielder, Bruce. And he will keep him to a single. And the beat goes on for the Tigers.
It's a nice job here by Avila. He was a little tardy on fastballs earlier in the count, but he shortened up his swing just a little bit, a little shorter, a little quicker. Swing more compact, and he drills this ball into right center field. Real nice play out there by Jay Bruce, covering quite a bit of ground to keep Avila at first base.
So the last time the Tigers played in a hitter's ballpark, Wrigley Field, on the last road trip, man, they put up a ton of hits and a ton of runs, and they've come to another nice hitting ballpark here, and they've kind of picked up.
A lot of home runs hit in this particular ballpark, just over 2 a game, which ranks 6th in the majors. Camden Yards, Yankee Stadium, Coors Field, Rogers Center, and Miller Park, ahead of Great American Ballpark.
Well, 2 more tonight, Martinez and Castellanos. Here is Andrew Romine.
And Brian Price, their manager, already on the phone.
That is not a good feeling when you have to do that in the first inning. Romine at 259, playing for Iglesias tonight at short. Slaps one foul, 0-1. 5 of the first 7 batters in this inning have seen a 3-2 count. And that's why Sampson is about to throw his 40th pitch of this inning.
He won't last very long in this contest unless he gets that in shape.
And quickly. That's low. 1 ball, 1 strike.
This all started for Sampson, giving up the 0-2 hit to Ian Kinsler on a hanging breaking ball.
And Cabrera followed with a base hit. 3-run homer by JD Martinez. Little bouncer toward third base. Going to be a tough play, and it's under the glove of Frazier into left field. Here comes Avila to third base. He'll stop there, and Romine will go to second.
I don't know how they're going to score that, but that should be a double.
With Romine's running ability, even if he fields that ball cleanly, it's going to be a tough play.
And it was cued off the bat. The ball stayed down and just got underneath his glove.
Yeah, I just don't. Yeah, he's not going to be able to make that play. It is a 2-base hit. It's a double for Romine. So here's the 9th man to bat in the inning, the pitcher, Buck Farmer, who takes a rip. 0-1. Farmer is batting 1,000 for his big league career.
Is that good?
That's pretty good. It's probably not going to last, but it's pretty good. Got a base hit back in Chicago. Swings late at the 93-mile-an-hour heater. 0-2. One ball, two strikes. There's the action of the bullpen. Former Tiger Colin Ballister warming up. And Farmer swings and misses on another heater to end the inning. A big inning for the Tigers. They send 9 men to the plate, and they hit a couple of homers. The first one, a 3-run shot. J.D. Martinez. And then later, Castellanos. He goes deep as well. 4-0 Tigers. For Buck Farmer, 4-0 in favor of the Tigers. Farmer presented tonight by Family Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
And very important for Farmer, even though he has been staked to a 4-run lead, you have to continue to use all of your pitches, which will be the 4-seam fastball, the slider, and also the changeup.
Here's the starting lineup you'll face tonight, presented by the Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. And for the Reds, it'll be Schumacher, Suarez, and Votto at the top. Phillips, Frazier, and Bruce in the middle. Bourgeois is in center field, followed by Barnhart. And the pitcher, Kiva Sampson. 100 walks for Joey Votto. Leading Major League Baseball in the middle of their lineup. Here is Schumacher to get it started now for the Reds. 4-0 Tigers. Schumacher batting .213. Takes a strike from Buck Farmer. Schumacher, a guy that will play everywhere. He's played left, he's played right, second base, DH'd. Here's Farmer's 0-1. And that is in there. 0-2 now on the Reds leadoff man. Schumacher came up in the Cardinals organization, was a member of their system for 8 years at the big league level. And he looks at a ball outside. 1-2.
That's one thing the St. Louis Cardinals do a very nice job of. They do a nice job of when they get players in their minor league system, they prepare them to play in the big leagues, as they did Schumacher. And now he finds himself with another opportunity here in Cincinnati.
Here's the 1-2 offering. Little chopper to the shortstop. Romine will charge. Schumacher is out, one gone.
Let's take a look at the Tigers starting defensive alignment. It is presented by Beaumont Health. Martinez, Gomes, Collins in the outfield. Castellanos, Romine, Ian Kinsler, Miguel Cabrera in the infield. Alex Avila, he is behind the plate today. The Tigers, well, they've been kicking it around a little bit in the last 5 games. They've committed 7 errors.
Here's Eugenio Suarez, the former Tiger, batting in the 2 spot, having himself a really nice offensive season. In fact, Suarez had .302 this year with 8 home runs. Also driven in 32. Now the 0-1.
They really like Suarez here. They think his bat plays very well in the big leagues. His batting average right now sits at .302. Defensively, he still has some work to do before he's a really good big league shortstop, but they really like the way he's been swinging that stick.
High fly ball, right center field, playable. Anthony Gose is under it, and there are 2 outs. Now Joey Votto. So Votto batting .308, has hit 23 home runs this year. We mentioned he likes to walk. He's done it a ton, 100 times.
Yeah, and his OPS is nearly 1,000, which is great. He's at .988. Miguel was over 1,000. Not many guys in the big leagues have an on-base percentage and slugging percentage that add up to more than 1,000.
Votto takes strike 1.
And Buck Farmer doing a nice job of pounding that strike zone with good firm fastballs. That one at 94.
In search of the 1-2-3 first inning after the Tigers got him 4. I'm sure Buck wasn't thinking he was going to have to hit in the first inning, but there he was, the 9th man to come to the plate. He made the final out, then he had to run out to the mound.
Right.
He was able to gather himself, take a couple of deep breaths. Vila sets up inside, and Votto swings right through it.
3 straight fastballs to Joey Votto, all at 94 miles an hour. And we told you Buck has an above-average changeup for a right-hander. Not afraid to throw that pitch to righties or lefties. Slider, still a pitch that he's working on. They're going to go inside again on Votto.
Way inside.
But the one thing about Votto, if you think you can get to that changeup now and you're going to set him up, it really doesn't happen. You have to locate the pitch because if you leave it up, his swing path is so consistent and he has great hand-eye coordination, he'll put it in play.
Here's the 2-2. Full count on Votto. Votto has reached base 4 times in a game, 9 times since the All-Star break alone. So this guy has gone on base quite a bit, and you see Brandon Phillips waiting on deck. And the 3-2. He walked him. There's another base on balls for Joey Votto. So the number 3 hitter is aboard with 2 outs. We'll bring up Brandon Phillips.
Be careful to Brandon Phillips on first pitch fastballs. He likes to swing early and he likes to swing often.
Phillips is at .284 this year. He has power, 9 home runs. Supreme defender. He's won 4 Gold Gloves in his career.
Yeah, he's lights out at that second base position.
Ball high, 1-0.
As a matter of fact, the last 5 years consecutively, the managers in the National League rated him as the best defensive second baseman, 5 years running.
Votto, modest lead at first base. That is in there. A strike called by Jerry Meals. 1-1 on Phillips. Let's go with his 4 Gold Gloves. 3 All-Star appearances as well for Phillips. Swing and a miss. 1-2.
It's a good breaking ball there thrown by Buck. And if he can do that consistently at this level, you can win some games. As a matter of fact, that might have even been the changeup at 85 miles an hour, which caught the outside corner. Vila down to block that one. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Farmer making his 4th big league start this year, a 9.20 ERA as a starter this season. All of his starts have come on the road, obviously including tonight. He's also been used out of the bullpen. I told you at the top of the show, Tiger's trying to decide where he might be best in the big leagues, bullpen or in the rotation. And that backs him out of there now, 3-2. Means Votto will be on the move at first base. Farmer played his college ball at Georgia Tech. The 3-2 on a line to right field, straight at Martinez to end the inning. No runs, a walk, 1 man left. We go to the 2nd in Cincinnati. And they're off to a tough start on this one. The Tigers planted a 4-spot on them in the first inning. And how about this, Rod? They've had 2 separate losing streaks of at least 9 games.
Yeah, they've scuffled under Brian Price. He was the pitching coach under Dusty Baker for 3 years when Dusty was the manager. But Dusty was let go, and Brian, in his 2nd year as their skipper, they just have not really been able to put it together consistently.
Anthony Gose drops down a bunt to start things off. It'll be fielded by Votto, but no play. It'll be a bunt single for Anthony Gose. Placed beautifully down the first base line.
This is the key to bunting. When you're a left-hander or a right-hander and you have speed, you have to stay in the batter's box and keep your feet as quiet as possible while you're making contact with the baseball. And then once you make contact with the baseball, then you get the ball down in an area and they can't throw you out.
So many times you'll see that batter just rush that bunt. Trying to get out of the box, get that extra step out of the box. Gose did it beautifully that time, and he has himself a base hit. Ian Kinsler is standing in now. Kinsler had a single in the first inning. That extended his hitting streak to 7 consecutive games. And a strike called. Sampson in that first inning threw 45 pitches. He faced 9 batters and had to strike out the pitcher Buck Farmer to get out of the inning. Now Sampson will step off. This is not the way you want to start a ball game if you're Akiva Sampson. 1+, 7 hits, 4 runs earned. Checked it inside, and the count now 1-1 on Kinsler. Sampson gave up 4 earned runs in his last start against the Royals in the first inning, and well, he is greeted rudely again here in this start against the Tigers. Pitch out, but nothing doing. Ghosts going nowhere. Anthony has 19 steals this year. %70 success rate for Ghosts. Runner goes. Here comes the throw from Barnhart. It's on the money and out at second base is Ghosts. What a throw.
We heard that Barnhart was an outstanding defensive catcher, and he put it on display right there. Ghosts can really run, and Ghosts gets a pretty good jump. But look at the footwork here by Barnhart, and the exchange and the throw. I mean, right on the bag, right over the top. Oh, my goodness, you cannot make a better throw than that. Look where Phillips catches this.
Literally cannot. Barnhart came in at 28%. He helped that percentage out with that throw. It's up to 30. 2-2 on Kinsler.
Another
chopped foul down the third base line. Tigers in that first inning hit 2 home runs, and they had 6 hits in that inning. There's Cabrera waiting on deck, and again the 2-2. He just got a piece of it. Ian upset at himself for even offering it that ball. Reds had won 2 of the previous 3 between these two teams in the season series. They wrap it up here tonight. Ripped foul down the left field line. Boy, that ball was hit hard. Not many folks are fooling Kinsler these days. 151 hits now, leads the American League. It'll bounce in. 3-2. Ian last year established his career high with 188 hits in his first year with the Tigers.
Really solidified that second base position too in the last year. He was stellar on both ends of the ball in the last couple of months. He's been hot with that bat.
This one has popped up foul. This will get back out of play.
Had a nice conversation with Ian in the clubhouse today, and I was asking him, since he's hit 360 in July and August, is this the best stretch he's had as far as consistent, plate appearances and path to the ball? He said he really could not remember any time where he was as consistent for a 40-game stretch as he is right now. Not over swinging, not trying to hit homers.
It really has been impressive to watch.
And the one thing that he said to me is, he says, I don't take any pitches off. He says, when I get in that batter's box these days, and it's not like he didn't before, but he says he's really concentrating on, from the word go, just having really good plate appearances and not taking any pitches off. And the results have been really good for Ian.
Another foul back out of play. It's turned into a 12-pitch at bat for Ian Kinsler.
When guys are as hot as Ian Kinsler has been, I tend to not want to talk to them too much. But it's gotten to the point now where I just had to ask him, because for me, even though he had a lot of hits last year, this is the best I've seen Ian in an extended period of time. And this goes back to his Texas Rangers days.
Again, the 3-2. And he ends up walking him on a 13-pitch at bat. What an AB for Ian Kinsler. Don't forget to stay tuned to Tigers Live. Following the game, we'll select the Fox Sports Detroit Tigers Player of the Game, presented by McDonald's Steak and Egg Burritos. Well, it's not getting any easier now for Kivas Sampson. He has thrown a boatload of pitches. Now he faces Cabrera, who singled to the corner in right field in his first at bat. And he looks at ball one outside.
Yeah, first time up, they really crowded Miguel with a lot of good fastballs inside. Count worked its way to 3-2 before Miggy hit that single down in the right field corner. This time, they start him off with a breaking ball away.
Here's the 1-0. 2 balls, no strikes. Well, they had somebody warming up, Ballister, in the first inning, and now Sampson, who's up over 61 pitches. They may soon have to go back into that bullpen. And there you go. It is again Colin Ballister. Miggy waves and misses. 2-1 on Cabrera, who now has a 9-game hitting streak. What a series he had against Texas. I mean, when you get Cabrera to go 9 for 14 against the Rangers in that series and still lose 3 out of 4, it does make you shake your head a bit. The 2-1 inside, 3 balls, 1 strike.
I think Miguel has like a career batting average against the Texas Rangers of like 391, so he's been killing them for a long time.
There's JD waiting on deck. And we still have to go to Texas to play the Rangers in their ballpark. High fly ball right field. Bruce going back to the track. He's there to make the catch. This time the ballpark holds Cabrera, and there are 2 gone. Miggy falls a little bit short. We'll bring up J.D. Martinez. J.D. got him off and running in the first inning, a 3-run homer against Sampson. Martinez now a couple of homers, 5 RBIs against the Reds in the season series. There's a strike called. The series was 2 at Comerica, and then it was supposed to be 2 here in Cincinnati. They played the first game, which was also interrupted by rain, but they got it in. And the second game washed away. That's why we're here tonight. Martinez now with 33 home runs. Ball low.
This is what makes J.D. Martinez so difficult to navigate through, is the fact that he's got power in every direction. He is probably the only guy in the big leagues that has at least 10 homers to left, 10 homers to center, and also 10 homers to right field. Let's take a look at the big boys, big play of the game, since we're talking about J.D. Martinez and we're talking about home runs. He connected for 1. It was in the first inning. 390 feet from home plate to get the Tigers on the board with a 3-run shot.
Sampson with the 1-2. He tried to check, but he went around. Strike 3, and that'll end the inning. No runs, they hit a walk, they lead 1. We go to the bottom of the second in Cincinnati. Here in the bottom of the second in Cincinnati. And how about the home run derby hangover? Is this possible, Rod? A couple of guys, Frazier and Peterson, who did really well, but look what they've done in the second half.
This is the main reason, Mario, where there are a lot of managers, a lot of hitting coaches that really do not like their guys to participate in the home run derby. You saw the numbers there of Peterson and also Frazier. And we saw Frazier right before the All-Star game, and he was on fire against us. But for whatever reason, there's a lot of people that believe that by participating in the home run contest and taking as many swings as they take, you kind of lose your swing. And if a lot of managers look at that last graphic we put up, they're going to try to discourage their guys from participating. Here's Frazier in the home run hitting contest right here in this particular ballpark, and he won it with a flair. And I have to say, though, it was one of the most exciting, if not the most exciting home run derby I've ever watched.
Well, I think it was the most exciting. But did it cost Frazier? Did it cost Peterson? We'll never know, I guess, the real truth. But there are many that believe that when you take that many swings, that many home run type swings, you kind of lose your path, so to speak.
Managers and hitting coaches and general managers, they will not tell you not to participate, but every now and then they'll try to discourage you from doing so.
Yeah, let alone the thought of perhaps injury as well with that many repetitions. 1-2, he rolls his bat at it and rolls it to third base. Castellanos with an off-balance throw in time. Got it by half a step, and Frazier says take a look at that.
And Brian Price comes to the top of the dugout of the Cincinnati Reds, and he's going to wait until he hears word on whether they should challenge it or not. This much we do know, Frazier needs as many knocks as he can get.
No doubt.
I think it'd be hard to reverse that or even challenge that one.
I don't think so. You can see him mouthing the word safe to Andy Fletcher, who called him out. Frazier's standing at first base right now, but I doubt they'll challenge this. And they are not. So a 5-3 ground out, one gone here in the second. Was close.
Yes, it was.
Jay Bruce is playing against a Tigers shift. Left-handed batting right fielder, who is really going through it right now. His average is down to 235. Why? Because he is 7 for his last 68. Low and away, 1-1.
There are a lot of experts out there that felt like Jay Bruce would be traded at the trade deadline. Yeah, but apparently not, still wearing the Cincinnati Reds uniform. I'm sure they probably got some calls on Bruce, but they probably wanted a little bit too much for him.
Lifted in the air toward left. Tyler Collins coming in. 2 up, 2 down.
Word is on Aroldis Chapman, too, their very talented closer who hasn't pitched in a while. Had ailing shoulder for Chapman is the word. They were asking for quite a bit for him, too. Therefore, both guys were not able to be traded.
Johnny Cueto was, so was Mike Leake. 2/3 of really 2 talented thirds of their rotation.
They say they got themselves 3 pretty good left-handers from the Kansas City Royals in that Johnny Cueto deal.
Jason Bourgeois stands in, batting .230. Is there a better name in baseball?
That's a pretty special name. Bourgeois.
They're pinching at the corners on Bourgeois. Farmer's 0-1. That's lifted in the air. Shallow left center. Romine going back. Collins coming in. And it's Tyler Collins for a 1-2-3 inning for Buck Farmer. Tigers baseball tonight presented by Bell Tire. By Comerica Bank, raise your expectations of what a bank could be when it's time. Come to Comerica. Ram Trucks, find your summer of fun with great deals at the Ram Summer Clearance Event. And by Spartan Stores. For location, visit turtospartan.com. Back here in Cincinnati on an absolutely gorgeous night. The Tigers and the Reds in the makeup game from the rainout in June. And the Tigers got off to a smashing start tonight. They had a couple of home runs in the first inning. Kiva Sampson goes back out there for his third inning of work. His pitch count is extremely elevated. Collins, Castellanos, and Avila. Tyler fly to left field. His only at bat, 0 for 1. Brad Ausmus reiterating before the game today that it's a really important final month and a week here for Collins to show what he can do at this level, and he'll get his opportunities. In fact, he got a start against the lefty Cole Hamels.
Collins can do a lot of things very well. He's got some power in his bat. He can play right field. He can play left field. He can spell you in center field for a week or two if you need him out there. Yeah, but it's very important for him to show this staff that he's deserving of having a spot next year when they go to spring training.
Let me ask you this. I'll paint a scenario for you. Collins has a really good month of September. Shows he can play in the big leagues. Does that affect how the Tigers go about their offseason in terms of structuring their ball club and acquiring players?
Well, they may go out and find themselves someone to platoon with Collins in left field if he does show that he is capable of handling most of the at-bats against right-handed pitching.
See if this one stays in play. It appears it will, and Frazier makes the out.
Or they could simply, if they choose to do so, there's some pretty good outfielders that are going to be on that market next year, one of which has already worn the Tigers uniform, and they might just try to get him back. So you never know.
You are speaking of Mr. Cespedes, I see.
Well, Cespedes loved the Tigers anyway, and the Tigers have had an infatuation with Cespedes since he came from Cuba to the United States before he signed with the Oakland Athletics. So we'll see. But even if Collins doesn't land here, he's still auditioning for every other team that continues to watch these Tigers down the stretch.
Off the end of the bat from Castellanos, and Sampson covers for the out. 2 gone.
I never forget an older player who was a kind of a career minor league player. Joe Gates was his name when I was at the Chicago White Sox, and he was a good friend, but he was an older guy. And I was a very young guy at that particular time when I played in AA when Joe was there. And he said, you know what? Every day you play, there's somebody watching you. So if it doesn't work out for your respective club, there's always someone that sees you or another manager or coach that you play against that might like you. And if there's a trade that they want to consummate, you might be the guy going the other direction. And I happen to be that guy one day, very young player, about 19, 20 years old. I was traded from the White Sox to the Seattle Mariners.
So Joe Gates turned out to be very prophetic then.
He did, you know, and I played so well that year against Seattle. It did not shock me that Seattle asked for me in the deal.
Alex Avila batting here with 2 outs. He singled in the first inning. Fouled away. 1 ball, 1 strike.
That happened to be the Tom Pachort deal.
Oh, really?
Pachort was playing for the Seattle Mariners at that time, and they traded him to the Chicago White Sox. I went to Seattle, and I believe the White Sox went on to win a division that year. They won that year. I know that. They got in the postseason.
A little bit outside. 2 balls and 1 strike. Well, that's why the final month of the season is so important, even if your ball club might be out of it. And the Tigers certainly are hoping that is not the case, but they better turn on the Jets here sometime soon. There's a strike called on Avila. But even the teams that are struggling and are out of the playoff race, there is something to play for every single day. You know, unless you're an established veteran that knows going into spring camp next year, your spot is safe. Just missed the infield, was 2 steps back into the dugout.
It's about the 3rd or 4th time that Sampson has thrown a pitch toward home plate, and Jerry Mills has called a ball, and Sampson has been 3 steps toward his dugout.
Here's the 3-2, and he ends up walking him. So Avila reaches for the 2nd time in this game. Hey, just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller Time later in tonight's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. So here is Romine, who hit a ground ball with a lot of topspin on it down the third base line in the first inning and ended up with a double. Fouled away 0-1. It's been a backup year for Romine, who got a lot of starts last season with Iglesias on the disabled list last year. The role really switched this season for Romine, one in which he's played really just about every infield position. The 0-1 pitch. That's in there, 0-2.
Yeah, just not a lot of opportunities to play this year for Romine with the year that Iglesias has had. And Castellanos is their third baseman and their third baseman of the future. You're not going to play ahead of Kinsler and Miguel on the other side of the infield, so you just have to get your opportunities and make the best of them when you get them.
I think coming out of spring training, though, Brad Ausmus felt comfortable because he was kind of an insurance policy if Iglesias didn't bounce back from the shin surgeries.
That's a great point.
And it's always nice to have a guy like this on the bench who can come in, and he, of course, has seen a lot of time defensively late in games for Castellanos. Missed it outside, and Romine laid off 2-2. Tigers scored all 4 of the runs in the first, and so far it's held up. Buck Farmer waiting on deck. Romine swings and misses, and down he goes. Third strikeout of the game for Sampson. Tigers get a walk and leave a man. Third here in Cincinnati tonight. Time now for you to tweet your strongest fan photo. Use hashtag Detroit DataStrongFan, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile. Plenty of good seats available here tonight for this makeup game. The Tigers and the Cincinnati Reds. Well, Detroit early in this one. Buck Farmer goes back to the hill. He will face the 8, 9, and 1 hitters for the Reds. Tucker Barnhart, rather, will lead things off, and Kivas Sampson and Skip Schumacher. First pitch is lined foul down the left field line. Buck has given up just 1 walk in his first 2 innings of work. Tucker Barnhart batting .263. But he's thrown a runner out tonight. He caught Ghost trying to steal back in the second.
It's an outstanding throw by Barnhart as well.
The 0-1.
Speaking of catchers and throws, how about that throw McCann made yesterday?
From his knees?
Incredible.
Pretty amazing. Here's the 1-1 pitch. That is inside. 2 balls, 1 strike.
And here's that throw yesterday from McCann. One knee, strike to second base. Unbelievable throw.
Man, oh man, McCann just he's done just about everything right this year in his rookie season. Here's the 2-1. Now McCann did come up in September last year and he got a chance to play a little bit, not a whole lot. Tigers of course involved in that pennant race last year, and I'll tell you what, that may have helped him a little bit, kind of get his feet wet, and he just hit the ground running this year.
Oh, when he got to spring training this year, the Tigers, and they felt so good about McCann, is that you pretty much knew from the word go that he was going to be the backup catcher to Avila. I mentioned Brian Holiday, who did a very nice job the year before in a backup role. He was going to be sent to the minors. The Tigers made that very clear in spring training.
3-2. And Barnhart goes down swinging. Buck Farmer has his first strikeout of the night. Time for a game break now. Here's Trevor Thompson. How about Chris Bryant, who all of a sudden has gotten red hot?
20 homers, man.
Jeez. 20
homers already.
Their young guys are coming to the big leagues and making an immediate, and I mean immediate, impact.
It's an amazing job of what Theo Epstein and Jed Hoyer have done there, stockpiling all that really good young talent and all those guys getting in the big leagues and producing. It doesn't happen that way very often.
By the way, how about Trevor's impersonation of Harry Carey there with the Cubs win?
We got to work on that a little bit.
Glad you said it.
I love Trev, though. You know that.
Here's the 1-1 pitch. And it's a strike called on Sampson.
But did you know it's the end of American Legion weekend at
I knew that
in Chicago. They won 4 games coming to the ballpark 1 hour before the game. Catch and play.
That's Joe Madden for you. Chicago 6 back in the middle of the pack.
Leave to Joe Madden to think of that.
And there's the ball low from Farmer, 2-2.
And when you think about it, more managers probably should do it. I mean, these guys get worn out. There's no question about that. In the heat of the summer, why not back it off every now and then?
Yeah, I can see it in August, September-ish. And this is a team that's in the thick of the pennant race right now with a wild card spot.
He locked the clubhouse. They couldn't get in.
Well, you know, around Wrigley Field there's an awful lot to do if the clubhouse is locked.
Got that right.
Although I'm not sure Joe wanted him to hang around some of the establishments outside of the ballpark. Schumacher waiting on deck. Again, the 2-2. Got him, strike 3. Back-to-back strikeouts now for Buck Farmer. 2 away here in the third. Now Schumacher will stand in.
Alex Avila is leading Buck Farmer beautifully here this evening. Very seldom has Buck shaken off the veteran catcher. 4-run lead given to Buck Farmer in the very first inning, and he's continued to use all of his pitches here today, not exclusively going to the fastball like a lot of young pitchers do when they have a big lead. He's thrown some nice sliders. He's thrown some good changeups as well.
Schumacher is 0 for 1 with a ground out. Strike 1. The only base runner so far tonight for the Reds, a 2-out walk to Joey Votto in the first, but he was stranded. 1 ball, 1 strike on Schumacher.
Yeah, 73% of the pitches Buck Farmer has thrown have been fastballs. Handful of changeups. Few more breaking balls.
It'll bounce in, 2-1. Farmer getting the start tonight because the Tigers rotation has just all of a sudden been riddled by injuries, with Norris going on the DL, Sanchez on the DL. They had a trade for Randy Wolf a couple of days ago. He made a start against Texas. The 2-1. Again, the Tigers coming home to take an Angels team that has not been playing good baseball at all. The Tigers have struggled against the Angels over the last couple of years, but Halos have fallen into third place now in the West. 3-1 pitch. Lifted back out of play. 3-2. Here are some of the guys that are still ailing. Of course, Shane Green is going to be checked out, and Kyle Lobstein trying to make his way back from left shoulder soreness.
An aneurysm in the right hand. That doesn't sound good.
No, it doesn't. Even when you put the word pseudo in front of it. Here's another walk. 2 out base on balls. It'll bring up Suarez. That also brings Avila up to the mound. Buck Farmer doing all the listening here. Suarez fly to center field in his first at bat. Reds still in search of their first hit. They've had a couple of walks. That's it. Suarez last year batted .242 as a member of the Tigers. He'll foul that one back out of play.
Suarez has that slightly open stance, and he has that leg kick. And he demonstrated last year in the time that he played with the Tigers that he could hit a good fastball. That's never been a question with Suarez.
A little bit of power in that bat. In fact, Suarez this year with 8 home runs. He was called up in June when Cozart went on the DL. In there for a strike. 0-2.
He has played so well that some people here that follow the Cincinnati Reds on a daily basis, they told us they're not so sure that he's not a better player than Cozart. They say he's definitely a better hitter than Cozart.
A little broken bat pop up towards short, and Romine will make the play to end the inning. No runs, a walk, 1 man left, 3 in the books. Still 4-0 Tigers. Nothing in favor of the Tigers in this one, and we look at the wild card standings. The Yankees and Texas right now have the 2 wild card spots, and when you look where the Tigers sit, Rob, yes, they are 5 out. The problem is the 4 teams ahead of them.
Yeah, they've got a lot of work to do. Yeah, I think they've given the Tigers about a 5% chance of getting into the postseason, which is a very slim chance. But they still have to go out, play all the games, and you'll see what happens.
Yeah, those teams ahead of the Tigers that are not in the wild card spots right now are just about 500 or barely over, so nobody's really taking this thing by the horns.
And you know that Angels team will be ready to play tomorrow night at Comerica Park because they're still real close to either winning their division or getting one of those wild card spots.
Farmer leads it off here in the 4th inning. Buck struck out in the first. First big league at bat came in Chicago on the last road trip, and he singled against Travis Wood up the middle. A solid base hit to center.
A left-hander.
Yeah, exactly. Which made it more impressive. Swing and a miss, and Farmer is down on strikes. 1 out. Well, tomorrow through Thursday, Comerica Park hosts a battle of MVPs. Miguel Cabrera and the Detroit Tigers face Albert Pujols, Mike Trout, and the Los Angeles Angels. If you'd like tickets, visit Tigers.com or call 866-66-TIGER.
You get an idea of just how valuable Trout is to the success of the Los Angeles Angels. He's been struggling a little bit lately since the All-Star break, and as he has struggled, their entire squad has struggled. They've had a difficult time of winning baseball games consistently.
Angels have lost 4 in a row, and 7 of their last 10 as they come into play tomorrow night. Anthony Ghost, meanwhile, had a bunt single but was caught trying to steal back in the 2nd. Rolled foul.
It was a perfect bunt as well down the first baseline when Votto got to it with the speed of Ghost. He was simply running past their first baseman, Joey Votto.
I wonder if somebody has encouraged Ghost to bunt more recently, because in the last, I don't know, week and a half, 2 weeks, he's done it a lot.
I've noticed that, at least attempting to do it once a game.
Strike called, 1-2.
And when you get those corner infielders really pinching you, if you're Anthony Ghost, then you simply, before you get 2 strikes, you could simply slap something by the first baseman, slap something past the third baseman. Yeah, use your speed to your advantage.
Bouncer back up the middle. Suarez ranging left. Ghosts out by a step and a half. 2 down in the 4th. Here's Kinsler. Ian on base 2 more times in this game. What an epic at bat he had last time. 13 pitch at bat for Kinsler resulted in a walk. Just one of the reasons why Sampson has had an elevated pitch count all day. In fact, it's at 94 now.
If you talk to Sampson, he'll probably talk about a lot of pitches he'd love to have back, but he'll probably talk about that 0-2 hanging breaking ball that he threw to Ian Kinsler in the very first inning when Kinsler got that solid single. Then, of course, Miggy drilled it.
Guess what? Another base hit to left.
And then JD, of course, hit that big 3-run home run. This guy's on fire, right? We keep talking about Miggy, but Kinsler's again. He's been doing this for 2 calendar months right now.
Sure has.
Look at the swing and the patience and the balance. There's really no aggression in the swing there of Kinsler. The shoulders are staying much more parallel these days, which means he's not popping up nearly as much as he was earlier in the season.
So give Ian now another multi-hit game, 49 to lead the American League. And he keeps it going for Cabrera, who looks at a ball low. Miggy's single and a fly ball, the ball that he hit in his last at bat, chasing Bruce to the warning track in right. Ground ball to third, fair ball, out of the reach of a diving Frazier. Down the line it goes. Kinsler coming to third base. They're going to try and score him. Here comes the relay to the plate. Ian is safe at home plate. Sliding in ahead of the tag of Barnhart. Nothing Tigers.
And Miggy hits one right down the third baseline past a diving Frazier. Ian Kinsler on first base. Dave Clark elected not to try to score him in the first inning, but this time he kind of forced the issue. And take a look at the slide by Ian Kinsler once he gets to home plate. This is called the pop-up slide. You get the foot on the bag, you stand up, and then you get the safe call.
So Cabrera gets a double and an RBI. He's driven in 60. 24 two-baggers for Miguel, who has a 2-hit game.
And for those of you wondering about the 2 plays, why not score Ian in that very first inning when Miggy hit that ball down the right field line when Dave Clark held him up at third base? It's because there was only 1 out then. There was 2 outs when he sent him here, so he had no problem, even though J.D. Martinez was standing in the on-deck circle. You know, something else that helps you send that runner home is that when they're giving you that kind of effort that Ian Kinsler was giving Dave Clark, the third base coach, as he got to third base.
They made it easy for him. But you're right, that was a great slide. 5-0 Tigers have the lead. Clark, he missed that series against Texas. At home with the wedding of his daughter. There's a check swing. He went. And that'll be it for J.D., who's called out on strikes for the 2nd straight at bat. But the Tigers add 1 more run. RBI double by Cabrera.
Buck Farmer, not Buck Martinez, been pretty good. Good changeup to the bottom of the strike zone. Then he's thrown some fastballs inside to the right-handers. He's crowded them, and he's also thrown some good fastballs fading away from the left-handed batters in this game. And so far, so good tonight for Mr. Farmer.
Joey Votto will lead things off. As you look at the numbers on Buck, he's thrown just 49 pitches, 3 innings. A couple of walks, a couple of strikeouts, and Votto looks at ball 1 high.
Already 101 walks on the season for Joey Votto.
Solid 308 batting average, good power. He's knocked in some runs. Swing and a miss, and he goes down to a knee after that swing.
His first time up, he took a couple of really aggressive swings at Farmer fastballs at 94 inside and came up empty. Like he may have hurt himself on that swing.
It sure does. He's walking gingerly right now. Like Votto tried to hit a 5-run homer. That is popped up. Shallow left field. Who wants it? Collins calling. 1 gone. Votto is retired. That'll bring up Brandon Phillips. Well, so far so good for Buck Farmer.
Looking for his first win of the season.
Phillips hit the ball hard his first time up, but right at J.D. Martinez in right field. Line drive out. He'll back him out of there. 1 ball, no strikes on Phillips.
He's had a great career here in Cincinnati. We've talked about the 4 Gold Gloves. He's made All-Star teams. Silver Slugger Award as well. And for a second baseman, holds a lot of records in Cincinnati history.
Well, he's a 15-year vet, so he's been around a long time. He was part of the Indian system when he first came up to the big leagues. Phillips' biggest year was back in 13 when he had a career high 103 runs driven in. Here are the career numbers with the Reds. Soft ground ball to first base, gobbled up by Miggy. Farmer covers for the out, 2 gone. Ball had a little spin on it going to Miggy.
Usually, as a first baseman, you field the ball with your glove only. You don't usually have your right hand down there. They teach you just to act with your glove at the first base position, but that had so much spin on it, so much English, that Mickey had to put both hands down there.
Mickey started left, and then he had to go back right. There's a pop-up foul back out of play by Todd Frazier. 5-3 ground out in his first at bat. Frazier is 0 for 1, batting .260. And only 204 in the second half coming in. We talked about perhaps the effect of the home run hitting contest. All-Star game was played right here in Cincinnati, and Frazier was the starting third baseman for the National League. Here's the 1-1. In fact, Frazier was the first Reds third baseman to start the All-Star game since Chris Sabo did it, the former University of Michigan star.
Sabo.
Yeah. Detroit Catholic Central as well.
Remember Sabo used to wear those glasses?
Oh, they were sweet looking. Swing and a miss.
I see you, Buck.
Wow, Buck Farmer looking really good tonight. That's a 1-2-3 inning. And his third strikeout of the game, 4 in the books. Sports Detroit is brought to you by Bell Tire. Get the lowest tire price, period. Bell Tire. Myers, save big with M-Perks from Myers. Sign up at mperks.com. And by Chevrolet, find new roads. Back here at Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati. The Tigers on top of the Reds. 5-0 is our score. The Tigers have knocked out the starter, Kivas Sampson. He's done for the night. And a former Tiger will take over now. A wall side windows pitching change. It'll be Colin Ballister.
And 42 games in the minors this season for Ballister. Outstanding earned run average at 221. The earned run, the whip was under 1, so he was pitching some real good baseball down in the minors.
Collins hit that ball high in the air to right field. It's going to be caught, though, by Jay Bruce. 1 pitch, 1 out here in the 5th. Ballister was a member of the Tigers in 2012 when he pitched in Detroit and Toledo. Tigers got him from the Washington Nationals for Ryan Perry. And then Ballister made his way to the Pirates, undergoing Tommy John surgery last year. Here's Castellanos. A little high, 1 ball, no strikes. Nick with a home run in the first inning. The Tigers hit 2 long balls in that frame. 3-run shot by J.D. Martinez, solo homer by Castellanos. It's always good to see when the Tigers go into a National League park where the rest of the offense is able to pick up Victor Martinez, who can't play because of no DH.
Absolutely. Yeah, Kinsler 2 hits already. Miggy a couple of hits. J.D. Martinez a big blow. A 3-run home run to left. And this is coming after 3 subpar performances as far as the offense was concerned after they lost the final 3 games of the 4-game series to the Texas Rangers.
Yeah, and that's what has made it so frustrating for Tigers fans this year. You go into Wrigley Field and have the 2-game series you have there offensively, but there was no carryover when you get back home.
Yeah, Tigers have played better overall this season on the road than they have at home, for whatever reason.
Yeah, it's been a big surprise. The Tigers 29-33 at home. Here's the 3-1 from Ballister. High fly ball again to right field. This time Bruce charging, still coming over toward the line. 2 outs. Hey, those University of Michigan students out there might look a bit familiar. They're getting ready for when Jim Harbaugh coaches his first game as Michigan takes on Utah on Thursday, September the 3rd. You can watch that game on Fox Sports 1 with coverage starting at 7 p.m. Eastern.
They look just like him.
They're getting into it. How about the Harbaugh bus, man? Have you seen this?
They roll up in a bus, too?
It's got khakis and a belt on.
No way.
It does. There it is, the Harbaugh bus.
He's made those khakis famous.
There's a ball low to Alex Avila. Well, Mr. Harbaugh has the Michigan faithful extremely excited about this year. Avila a single and a walk in this game. Checked it. Did he go? Did not. Says Paul Emmel. The shift on against Avila. 3 defenders to the right of second base. Ballister now with the 2-0 pitch. 3-0.
Cincinnati, one of the few teams that we do watch that employs this shift on Avila, where they don't simply take the second baseman and put him out in right field. And Phillips, their second baseman, is right at the, he's in the infield dirt, as a matter of fact.
3-1. Here it is.
Yeah, usually the second baseman is about 10 steps deeper than where Phillips is sitting right now. He's in the middle.
And he lost him as Avila gets yet another walk. It's his second of the game. 2-out base runner. That'll bring up Romine. He had a 2-bagger in the first inning and then struck out in the third. Drilled towards center field. Bourgeois on the move to make the catch. Tigers get a 2-out walk, strand a man. We'll go to the bottom of the 5th inning here in Cincinnati. Tigers baseball tonight presented by Bell Tire.
America Bank game summary. Tigers got on the board first. Singles by Miguel Cabrera and also Ian Kinsler. Then the big blow by J.D. Martinez. 3-run shot. Castellanos also chipped in with a big home run in the first inning. Then Miguel Cabrera, he doubles down in the left field corner. Ian Kinsler, who had singled again, comes all the way around from first to score the 5th run of the game.
So Buck Farmer goes back to the mound now as we head to the bottom of the 5th here in Cincinnati, and the first one is missing outside to Jay Bruce. Buck had a 1-2-3 4th, including his 3rd strikeout of the game. He went right through the middle of the Cincinnati lineup. Bruce 0 for 1 with the fly ball, and he lifts that one back out of play. Jay Bruce now is 2 for his last 22 at bats, and his average has dipped profusely because of that. There's the shift they play against Bruce. Castellanos to the right field grass. Drill down the right field line. It is hooking foul. Just a smidge out in front of that one, fortunately. 1-2. Bruce, a 2-time All-Star. That's in the air toward right center field. Shallow. Ghost coming on to make the catch. One away in the 5th.
And love the way that Farmer's pitching here today. Here's a changeup that he fools Bruce on. He's out on that front foot, and he's swinging with all arms there. Ghost took 1 step back, but with his speed, still able to get there and make a play. And so far, through 63 pitches, Buck Farmer doing a nice job.
Got 7 fly ball outs, 3 on the ground, 3 via the punch out.
And typically, this is the kind of ballpark where you do not want to live in the air.
Good point. There's a line drive base hit to right center field. That'll be the first hit of the ball game for Cincinnati. Jason Bourgeois with a 1-out single in the 5th. Sharply hit. That'll bring up Tucker Barnhart. Barnhart struck out against Farmer in the 3rd. Tigers tonight have out hit the Reds 9-1. High fly ball toward left, playable. Tyler Collins is under it.
Every last one of these Cincinnati Reds are swinging early and swinging often. I guess the reason for that is Buck has been pretty good with his first pitch strikes, and he's also thrown a lot of fastballs in the first pitch of a lot of these at-bats.
Here is the pitcher, Colin Ballister, getting his first at bat. Strike called on Ballister. Huntington Beach High School, where Ballister went to high school. I think his dad owned a surf shop, I remember.
Oh, really?
His time in Detroit.
He looks like he's been on a surfboard.
He does. Here's a ball high. 1 ball, 1 strike. Ballister, in his Tiger days in 2012, appeared in 11 games before he went to the minor leagues.
Combined 4 for 27 as a hitter in the majors is Ballister.
Here's a 1-1. Soft floater towards second. Kinsler out to the grass to make the catch, and that is that for the Reds. No runs. They get their first hit. So let's go to the 6th. Tigers have a 5-0 lead in this ball game. Let's check in now with Johnny Kane.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, guys, you guys have made reference to this already, the fact that it's an all-rookie rotation for the Cincinnati Reds. I talked to Brian Price earlier today. He said the biggest thing is to try to keep these guys, keep the pitch counts low. He said once you try to do good things, you try to make good things happen, bad things tend to happen. You saw with Kivas Sampson tonight, again, elevated pitch counts early on. They had to get the bullpen up early on. Now, he didn't make it through 4 innings, but had the 100 pitches, and that was something that they kind of expected might happen here, but they now turned it over to the bullpen. But that's the one thing that he says he has to continue to try to manage with such a young staff is these guys keeping their pitch counts low, stay committed in the moment, don't try to do too much. And again, Sampson did settle in after the tough first inning, but he has now made his way to the pen.
All right, thanks very much, Johnny. Yeah, that 45-pitch first inning, not exactly what Brian Price was hoping for tonight out of the start.
Jeff Pico is the pitching coach here, but even though Brian Price is a manager, he had a long tenure as a really good pitching coach in a couple different spots. So I'm sure that he probably helps Jeff Pico a lot with these younger pitchers.
I would think so, and I think, Rod, it is really a challenge because it does fall on the coaches when you have so many rookie starters. I mean, there aren't really too many veterans in the rotation that the young guys can lean on.
They have had now 25 consecutive games started by a rookie pitcher. That is unheard of.
I've never heard of that, ever. Farmer hanging tough as he ricochets one back in the camera well.
Look out, Johnny Kane. You all right, Johnny?
Here are some of the rookie Redlegs. 8 rookie starters the most. 71 games started by rooks the most. As you mentioned, 25 in a row. And down goes Farmer swinging. Well, Buck has watched that 1,000 batting average plummet a little bit with 3 strikeouts tonight. Johnny says he's okay. He didn't answer, but he's okay.
Well, that foul ball got down there in a hurry. I was just checking on him.
Here's Anthony Gose. Gose slaps one in the air to left. It's shallow, and it's going to be caught there by Schumacher. 2 up, 2 down. Ballister has done a pretty good job since coming on, giving up just a walk in the 5th inning. That's it. Here is Ian Kinsler. Kinsler batting in the 2 spot. And the Tigers' 2, 3, and 4 hitters are 5 for 9 tonight. Including a 3-run shot by J.D. Martinez. Good look at ball 1. Kinsler now a 7-game hitting streak. 2 more hits tonight, both singles, and 2 runs scored. How about a 3-hit game? Kinsler with a single to right field with 2 outs.
If you weren't with us a couple of innings ago, I told the story about Ian Kinsler telling me he is not taking any pitches off here this season. Every single pitch, he is concentrating from the word go, and he simply takes this little sinker ball that's away from him and hits it the opposite way over the head of Brandon Phillips. Very quiet approach these days for Ian Kinsler.
That is his 9th 3-hit game of the year. And that'll keep it going now for Cabrera, who doubled him in when he singled with 2 outs last time up. High fly ball, right field, going to stay in the ballpark, though. Jay Bruce is under it, and that'll retire the side. We are on our way to the bottom of the 6th. Health Awareness and Pick Out the Park on September 18th. And the Tigers host the Royals at 7:08. Get a ticket plus a special Pick Out the Park t-shirt by purchasing at tigers.com/pickout. Well, Buck Farmer back to the hill now as we go to the bottom of the 6th and the top of the order coming up. It'll be Skip Schumacher. Tigers have 5 runs on 10 hits in this contest. No runs, 1 hit for Cincinnati. That is it. Farmer's been really good tonight. He allowed a single to Bourgeois in the 5th inning. And that's been it. He's had a couple of walks along the way as well. Schumacher fouls it back out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike. Farmer again, all his starts this year for the Tigers have come on the road, as is this one tonight, but this is clearly by far his best.
And he's trying to do something that he has not been able to do at this level yet, and that's win his first major league game.
His first start came in Los Angeles against the Angels, gave up 7 runs in 5 innings. Then he pitched in Cleveland, gave up 5 runs in 5 1/3. Here's the 1-2. Pulled to first base. Miggy knocks it down and kicks it. Still has time. And he's out at first base. Nicely done. Cabrera did not panic after he kicked it.
And that's the key to making the play. And the ball hit very sharply right down toward Miguel Cabrera. Didn't field it cleanly. Then he kicked it with the right foot. Got there. Picked it up and shuffled it underneath the Buck Farmer who was standing on the bag. You got one job to do as a pitcher when the ball hit to that side of the diamond. And that's get to the base.
Here's Eugenio Suarez. When the Tigers made the determination this year that they just couldn't make the trades for some of the pieces they would need down the stretch, and they decided to sell. One of the reasons was they traded a lot of their prospects away last year. Suarez went in a deal here to Cincinnati for Alfredo Simon, but also in that deal was Jonathan Crawford, a very talented pitcher in the Tigers system. Just one of the examples of some of the talent the Tigers gave away last season to make that playoff push, and even in the offseason.
It's really something the Tigers have done the last number of years because they've always been in contention. They've always gotten to the postseason. So you always need that one piece at the trade deadline. And unfortunately for them, they had to trade away a lot of their prospects over the last 4 years.
2-1 is hammered in the air and deep in left field. And Eugenio Suarez has gone deep.
He could swing that stick.
His 9th home run of the season, and the Reds are on the board. It's his 33rd RBI as well.
It's a fastball that's at 91 miles an hour. That's right down the middle. In the way that Suarez has been swinging the bat, you knew he was going to make some good solid contact, and he did.
There's Joey Votto. Ball 1 to Votto. First run that Farmer has given up tonight. Votto a walk and a fly ball. 1-1.
Farmer has thrown quite a few fastballs right by Joey Votto here tonight. All of them have been right around 93, 94.
Votto came in batting .391 since the All-Star break. 2 balls, 1 strike.
I like the way that Avila, when he's catching, he takes a look at the hitter's feet just to see if the hitters are moving around a little bit in the batter's box, anticipating that they might be trying to get a pitcher. So he's looking down, looking at the feet. Then once he figures out he's standing in the same spot, he simply goes to his sign.
That's in there.
A lot of guys don't move in the batter's box as they did 15, 20 years ago to try to get the pitch that they want. But there are a few guys still that do that.
3-1 the count. And Votto takes a strike, try to coax a walk. Probably had a point. For a guy that walks over 100 times a year and probably felt, well, I'm going to get that one.
Yeah, you've got to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Here's the 3-2. And that's ball 4. Time for another game break. We check in with Trevor Thompson. All right, Trev, thanks. Here it is 5-1. The Reds have gotten on the board on the home run by Eugenio Suarez. And now a walk to Joey Votto brings Jeff Jones out of the dugout. Cleanup man Brandon Phillips will be next.
Here is our high-speed pitch, and as always, it is brought to you by Xfinity. Top fastball so far tonight by Farmer, and he's touched 94 a lot this evening. And he's gone as low as 78 with a breaking ball.
So Phillips is 0 for 2, a line out to right field and a ground out.
And Phillips knows a lot of times after a base on balls and a visit by the pitching coach, that next pitch usually is a fastball. So if Farmer decides to throw him a fastball, make sure you locate it where he can't get to it.
Well, he couldn't get to that one.
He sure could.
Just want to know. His chin was closer to that pitch than his bat was. Now Farmer ready with the 1-0 pitch. Drill to left field down the line. That ball is hit deep, and that ball is going to be gone. It's a home run for Phillips, and all of a sudden the Reds are right back in this game. Two home runs in the inning for Cincinnati, 5-3.
That's a breaking ball that was just spinning after the fastball in the first pitch inside to Phillips. Phillips was looking for another fastball, got that breaking ball and drilled it, and had a little look there for Buck Farmer.
It's going to be it for Farmer, who surrenders a homer, a walk, and another homer. And a 5-0 lead has been cut to 5-3. Wallside Windows pitching change, and we'll be back to Cincinnati. Cruising along, retired the first man here in the 6th, and then homer, walk, homer, and in 5 and a third he allows 3 runs, 3 strikeouts, and he will depart and give way to Al Albuquerque. And there's the bunt, third base side. Castellanos on the charge, and he'll have no play. Bunt hit for Frazier.
Well, that's the last thing you're expecting if you're Castellanos, is for Frazier to attempt to bunt down the third baseline, because he usually hits the ball into the seats. And he placed it perfectly by the time Castellanos got there. Frazier was coasting past the bag.
Here are the numbers on Albuquerque this year. Pretty good ERA on the road, 1.82. And he looks at a ball outside, 1-0 on Jay Bruce.
Albuquerque also averaging nearly a strikeout per outing.
Al picked up a win in one of the ball games on the 18th in Chicago against the Cubs. Bruce is flying out twice in this game. He fouls it back out of play. The Reds did not have a hit until a 1-out single by Jason Bourgeois in the 5th, and now they've added 2, make it 3 more hits, 2 of them homers. Matthews and Badenhop warming up, a couple of righties for Cincinnati. Badenhop, a former Tiger. Frazier draws the throw.
They've got quite a few former Tigers on the Cincinnati Reds team. Brennan Bosch also on this Reds team.
Bosch, Badenhop, Suarez, Ballister. Corsolani warming in the Detroit bullpen. Way outside, 2 balls, 1 strike.
Usually Al's pitch of choice when he falls behind a hitter, whether it be a left-hander or a right-hander, he simply throws that really good slider. In this case, he'll need to bury it down and in and see if he can get Jay Bruce to swing at it, if that's exactly what Avila calls. Avila called for the slider. Avila wanted Albuquerque wanted the fastball.
Drilled well toward left center field. Collins on the run, looking up. This one's going to go up against the wall. Frazier coming to third. They're going to send him home, and he will score. Jay Bruce has doubled, and it's 5-4. And the Tigers' lead has all but disappeared.
Avila puts down the slider first of all for Albuquerque. Albuquerque didn't want that pitch. He wanted the fastball. He threw it outside, and Jay Bruce able to get to it, even though the ball appeared to be a couple of inches off the plate, and hit it over the head of Collins in the outfield for a double and an RBI.
'69th RBI of the year for Bruce, and here is Bourgeois. That backs him out of there, 1-0. Now 5 hits on the board for the Reds, 4 of them here in the 6th. Outside, 2 balls, no strikes. So the Reds, just like that, have the tying run in scoring position with only 1 out. Here's the 2-0. 2-1 on Bourgeois. Bourgeois getting playing time now. Hamilton, their center fielder, is on the disabled list with a shoulder injury. He was leading baseball with 54 stolen bases. Way outside as Avila goes down to stop it. 3-1. Corsolani has some company, and that Philly is beginning to heat up as well. Bouncing ball, foul, just outside of the bag. Ooh, that was close. 3-2. Tigers were cruising along in this one. Buck Farmer in particular had allowed just one hit through 5. And he lost in ball 4. That is 6 consecutive base runners that have reached after the leadoff man was retired. It's going to bring Grant Ausmus out, wanting to go right back to the bullpen. So the Tigers will make another pitching change here. And will step aside. It's a 5-4 ball game.
Pitch. Buck Farmer got off to a really good start. Had only given up 1 hit through the first 5 innings. He kept the ball out of the middle of the plate. He mixed in some breaking balls, nice change-ups, and an aggressive fastball at 94. But then in the 6th inning, a fastball right down the middle to Suarez. He left the building. And then a hanging breaking ball on a 1-0 count to Brandon Phillips, and he hit it out of the ballpark. 2-run variety.
Well, it's 5-4 now, and the Reds have 2 men on, only 1 out. Tying run is on. Go-ahead run is on as well as Tom Gorzolani checks in.
And 38th game this year for Gorzolani. The ERA sits at 5.90. Opponents averaging .310 against Tom.
Tucker Barnhart steps in. Switch hitting catcher will bat from the right side. Ball 1.
And Barnhart batting under 200, batting right-handed, batting 194 to be exact, hitting 279 left-handed. So that's why Brad elected to turn him around.
Pitcher spot due next, but Jesus has moved to the on-deck circle. Runner breaks to third base. Here comes the throw down to third. Not in time. A double steal. Both runners move up.
Cincinnati Reds lead the majors in stolen bases. You were talking about their very talented center fielder, Billy Hamilton, having 54 of those. They now have 113 as a team.
Now a single could put the Reds ahead. And it's 2-0 on Barnhart.
We're going to take one more look at that stolen base, and I'm kind of wondering why Castellanos was so far in front of third base. It appeared to me, had he just stayed there and straddled the bag and allowed that throw from Avila to come all the way to the third base bag, all he would have had to do is apply the tag here. You see where he is now, but he's in front of the bag here, and that makes it very difficult for him to reach back and apply the tag.
Orioles replaces Albuquerque, who faced 3 batters and all 3 reached. Fouled off and don't play, 2-1. Six in a row have reached for the Reds after the leadoff man was retired. 2 of them via the home run. Second and third for the Reds. Bruce at third, Bourgeois at second. Outside, and now the count goes to 3-1. There is Ivan DeJesus Jr. waiting on deck. With the pitcher spot due next. Way outside. That is going to load the bases. It's incredible. 7 in a row now reached. Now here is DeJesus Jr. And here comes Brad Ausmus. So Phillies is going to come into this ball game now with Gorzelani walking the only batter that he faces.
So Albuquerque and Gorzelani neither able to record an out here tonight.
No. Single, double, walk. Gorzelani out of the game. Another pitching change. Here comes Phillies. Now 5-4, bases are loaded for the Reds. And here is the upcoming matchup presented by the Michigan Office of Highway Safety Planning. The Angels are in town tomorrow. We've got Jared Weaver facing Alfredo Simon.
And Weaver's won 5 this year and lost 9. His ERA is kind of elevated this season at 5.34. Simon won his 11th game last time he was out, and he was sensational. Finally healthy again. He was able to bury that fastball at the bottom of the strike zone and pitched a really nice game.
Well, it's going to be Neftali Feliz coming out of the bullpen now for the Tigers, just trying to get an out at this point. He will face the pinch hitter DeJesus, Ivan DeJesus Jr.
And DeJesus is 2 of 12 as a pinch hitter this season.
Way outside, and Avila has to stretch out to stop it. 1-0.
This breaking ball had a lot of break on it. It's a nice job by Avila just to get over there and somehow catch it.
Phillies recorded his first save as a Tiger back on the 15th at Houston. Of course, he was the longtime closer for the Rangers. And he missed again, 2-0. 5 runs, 10 hits, Tigers. 4 runs on 5 hits for the Reds.
DeJesus has 4 home runs this year, but the Tigers outfielders are playing him very shallow. If he gets a fastball here in a 2-0 count from Phillies, he can very easily hit it over one of their heads. That's how shallow they are.
Swing and a miss. He got a heater at 95. 2-1. They are loaded up with Reds. Bruce at third, Bourgeois at second, and Barnhart at first. Swing and a miss again. One more time, mid-90s from Phillies, 2-2.
DeJesus Jr. has had no shot on those back-to-back fastballs. One at 95, one at 96. Thrown right by him.
He was hitting 300 in the minor leagues, was called up in June. And he missed outside, run at full now, 3-2 on DeJesus. Another wide one, and we've got ourselves a tie game. Schumacher on deck.
And Tigers pitching has already walked 5 in the game. 3 of those in this inning.
Here's the 3-2. Swing and a miss to strike him out. DeJesus down on strikes and a huge out for Phillies.
Pretty good life on the fastball so far here tonight by Neptali Feliz. That one at 97.
'95, '96, and then '97 to finish him off. So here is Schumacher now. 305 career with the bases loaded. Schumacher waves and misses at 97.
Feliz missed with the first two pitches he threw to DeJesus Jr. Those were breaking pitches. And then he has come back with a lot of really good four-seam fastballs, all in the mid-90s.
Schumacher started the inning by grounding out. Ball high. 1 ball, 1 strike. This whole thing started with a home run by Suarez to make it 5-1. Then a walk and another homer. Albuquerque and Gorzelani, neither were able to record an out. Feliz has come in to strike out DeJesus. Swing and a miss again in 97. 1-2 on Schumacher. And Neftali not messing around right now. Good old-fashioned hardball, upper 90s. And he's 1 strike away from leaving the bases loaded here.
Really no need in throwing a strike here. Elevate the fastball ever so slightly right above the belt buckle, and you'll get another swing and miss.
Drill to center field. That's going to be a base hit. 2 runs coming around to score. Schumacher has given the Reds the lead.
It's a really nice at bat by Schumacher, especially with 2 strikes. appeared to just shorten the stroke. The fastball was up in the strike zone. Didn't hit it very hard, but he really missed with his location. Avila won that ball outside. Feliz missed with that ball inside, and that allowed Schumacher to fight it off for a knock and 2 RBIs. And it looked like Buck Farmer was going to get his first major league win, but not tonight.
It looked like Schumacher had no chance
Nope.
up there.
He missed his location, though. That's enough to just give him an opportunity to put that ball in play.
So here is Suarez now with 2 on and 2 out. He's already homered in this inning. And he looks at a strike, 0-1. 6 runs on 6 hits. 5 of those hits in this 6th inning to give the Reds the lead. The 0-1-2 Suarez. Swing and a miss, 0-2. Wrinkled in one there, and now he's gone ahead in the count. Suarez tonight 1 for 3. His home run gave the Reds a little bit of life. They had had only 1 hit prior to his homer earlier in this inning. Now the 0-2. Outside, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Tigers pitchers have thrown 45 pitches here in the 6th. That'll bounce in. That'll even up the count now. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Albuquerque, Gorzolani, and Feliz. All pitching here in the 6th inning. Farmer started the frame. Joey Votto waiting on deck. 11 men to the plate here in the 6th. Way high, and the count goes 3-2. So they will start the runners here with 2 outs. The second time this year the Reds have scored 6 times in an inning. Now Feliz with the 3-2. Little pop up, shallow right field, slicing. It's going to drop fair. 1 run is in. They're going to try and score 2. The throw comes into second base. 2-run score. And it's 8-5 Cincinnati.
This is just getting ugly now. 3-2 pitch fought off by Suarez. He didn't even know where the ball was. JD Martinez got there, and then he fired the ball to second base. And when he came up firing to second base, the third base coach simply scored that runner all the way from first base.
The Tigers seemingly were cruising in this one 5-0. Suarez has now driven in 3 in this game.
Another pitching change?
I don't know. Brad's just going out to have a chat. There's nobody up.
Okay.
8-run inning for the Reds. They lead by 3. We'll bring up Joey Votto. Votto is not going to bat. They're going to walk him intentionally. They'll put runners at first and second. They would much rather pitch to the on-deck hitter Brandon Phillips, who's already homered in this inning, a 2-run shot. So give Votto his 3rd walk of the game. This one intentional. I'm not sure I quite believe this 8-run inning.
No, it's hard to believe, to be perfectly honest. 4 pitching changes as well in this inning. Farmer started the inning. Albuquerque came on. Gorzolani came on as well. Those two did not record an out. And now it's Phillies.
And Salvato gets his intentional walk.
It was looking like in the month of May, this Tigers bullpen was sorting itself out a little bit. Their earned run average in that particular month was 2.05, but in every other month, the earned run average out of that bullpen over 4.
So here's Brandon Phillips. The Reds' biggest comeback of the year was a 3-run deficit. They were down 5 in this game. Slice to right field. That's going to get down. It's going to go to the corner. This might get 2 more runs in. Phillips on his way to second base. 2 runs will score. Phillips on his way to third base. And he is in there safely.
We have seen absolutely everything in this inning.
Literally.
Boy, oh boy.
It is a 10-5 game. The Reds, for the first 5 innings in this game, look so indifferent.
It's a fastball, first pitch fastball, mid-90s, thrown to Phillips, slice down in the right field corner. J.D. Martinez had a little difficulty in corralling that ball, and by the time he picked it up, Phillips scampering to third.
It is a 10-run 6th inning for the Reds. And there's ball 1 inside to Frazier. Frazier had an infield single, kind of lost in this whole inning, but his bunt single kept the chain moving for the Reds. He takes ball 2 high. For action in the Tigers bullpen, Guido Knudsen warming up. When Phillies struck out De Jesus and then got 2 strikes on Schumacher, it looked like that would be it. There's another one missing inside, 3-0.
Yeah, because he was throwing fastballs right by those 2 guys you just mentioned. All 4 walks in this inning have come around to score.
And 6 walks total in the game for Tigers pitching. There's a foul straight back. He was taking a rip on 3-0. 3-1 on Todd Frazier. Phillies himself has thrown 25 pitches. Popped him up. This should finally end this inning. Castellanos. And it's finally over. Wow. 10 runs here in the 6th inning for the Reds. Go to the 7th in Cincinnati. scored 10 times, 10 big ones. And they've taken a 5-run lead in what has been the ugliest inning against the Tigers in a while. It's the first 10-run inning allowed by the Tigers since April of '09.
Well, it's a long time.
That was against the Yankees. And so the Reds go to the bullpen again. Bert Badenhop, the former Tiger, will check in.
And 52nd game for Badenhop this year, has 3 holds. The earned run average not bad, 3.73. Not an overpowering pitcher, only 23 strikeouts against 16 base on balls.
So Badenhop, who was once involved in the Miguel Cabrera deal. Last time the Reds scored 10 runs in an inning was 2005 against Arizona.
Yeah, you don't see 10 runs in an inning very often.
So it'll be J.D. Martinez, Tyler Collins, Nick Castellanos facing Bert Badenhop as we go to the 7th.
And for the most part, Badenhop sinker baller, sinker slider.
J.D. with a home run and a couple of strikeouts he fanned in his last 2 at-bats. Sampson, tonight's starter for the Reds, gets taken off the hook. There's a strike called, 0-2. Ten runs, 8 hits for the Reds. 5 runs, 10 hits for the Tigers. And J.D. looks at a ball that just missed outside. 1-2. Drilled to center field. Ball hit well. This one has a chance to go, and it's going to go off the wall. That'll be a leadoff double for J.D. Martinez to get things started here in the 7th.
J.D. Martinez was looking out over the heart of the plate because Badenhop had stayed away from him, and that sinker kind of inched its way back over toward the middle, and he barreled it up, and man, did it make a loud sound.
So the Tigers now trying to fight back. They will send Tyler Collins to the dish. Collins 0 for 3. Flied out in his last at bat against Colin Ballister. And he sends one in the air to left field. That'll be playable for Schumacher, who makes the catch. And that's an 0 for 4 night tonight for Collins. Well, the Red Wings 2015 Hockey Fest returns to the Joe Louis Arena Sunday, September the 13th. Enjoy an unforgettable day of hockey-related activities, including a chance to meet current players, including Red Wings alumni. And for Hockey Fest tickets, call 313-471-7575 or visit DetroitRedWings.com. One away for Castellanos. Nick had a home run in the first inning. Tigers hit 2 long balls in the first. Way outside, 1-0. Swing and a miss.
And back in the first inning, Tigers were rolling. 3-run home run off the bat of J.D. Martinez and a single shot by Nick Castellanos. That was against the starter, Kivas Sampson.
Badenhop ready with the 1-1. Fouled away, 1-2. The trade that Badenhop was involved in was, of course, for Miguel Cabrera. The Tigers sending Badenhop, Dallas Traherne, Frankie De La Cruz, Cameron Maben, Andrew Miller, and Mike Ribello.
And they didn't give up enough.
No.
They stole Miguel from the Florida Marlins at that time.
And Miggy and Dontrell Willis coming back the other way. And the rest is history with what Cabrera has been able to accomplish. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Castellanos. Tigers have 11 hits now with the double by JD here in the 7th. Now Badenhop will step off. Colin Ballister did a pretty good job in slowing down the Tigers. 2 scoreless innings. And in the meantime, the Reds put up a 10 spot in the 6th. Good block there by Barnhart. 2-2. Badenhop would end up spending 4 years with the Marlins after that deal. He went to Tampa, then Milwaukee and Boston, now Cincinnati. Fouled away again.
Looks like Castellanos is concentrating on taking that sinker ball that Badenhop features and not trying to roll over to the left side of the infield, trying to stay in it inside that ball with his hands and hit something to right field. Every swing that he has taken in this particular at bat has been the swing that he's trying to hit the ball in that direction.
Two and two on Nick Castellanos. Sevilla waiting on deck. Low 3-2. And he walked him, ball 4, so the Tigers have 2 aboard. That pitch a little bit outside. 2 on, 1 out. Here's Sevilla, single and 2 walks in this game.
Alex has done his best work this year with runners in scoring position, boasting a .321 batting average with a couple of homers. He's due for a homer too. His last homer July 7th in Seattle.
Well, it's a good ballpark to hit one in, and something that Barnhart didn't like there.
Probably that fastball right down the middle.
He'll get your catcher out of his crouch.
Got up quick.
More action in the bullpen. Hoover, the right-hander, warming up. That's hit to the right side. Phillips goes to second, 1. Relay to first is a double play.
Hit right on the screws, but right at Brandon Phillips.
4-6-3 ends the inning. We go to the stretch here in Cincinnati. did a lot of damage. A 10-run sixth inning, the most since August 19th of 2005 for the Reds. Ian Kinsler has been on base in all 4 plate appearances in this game. And really, Rod, when you get this kind of production out of 2 out of 4 in your lineup, or 2 through 4 in your lineup, you should be in pretty good shape.
You should be. Yeah, but the Tigers finding a very difficult time of finding that right recipe for success. They came out swinging the bats here today, but the pitching has definitely let them down tonight. 10 runs scored by the Cincinnati Reds in the 6th inning alone.
Here are the numbers this year from Toledo for Guido Knudsen.
Yeah, Guido was doing some closing down in the minor leagues. 10 of 12 in that particular department. The ERA not bad at all at 2.52 and averaging at least 1 strikeout per inning this year while down in Toledo.
Meanwhile, the Tigers have switched left fielders. Now Rajay Davis will come in to play left in the double switch with Knudsen coming in. And he will bat in Collins' old spot. Here we go in the bottom of the 7th, and it's a ball outside. Jay Bruce leading things off here. Bruce had a big RBI double in the 10-run 6th inning, also stole a bag. Shattered bat line drive caught by Miggy at first. Snapped it in half. 1 out. Here's the barrel. Here's Jason Bourgeois. One for 2 in the game. Bourgeois, in fact, got the first hit of the game for the Reds. That didn't come until the 5th inning.
And good firm fastball there thrown by Guido at 93 miles an hour.
Checked it low. Knudsen was born in San Diego, went to college in San Diego. 28th round pick that has made it to the big leagues. 3.29 ERA in the minors coming into this season. Bouncing ball to short, ranging left is Romine. Bourgeois is out, 2 gone. .6'1", 185, 26 years old, Mr. Knudsen. Made his big league debut at Comerica Park against the Rangers. Barnhart will bat lefty. Ball 1.
The last time you've seen a major league club with 2 switch hitting catchers.
Oh, right. Pena, too, right?
Yeah, Brian Pena would be the other one.
Who, by the way, is another former Tiger that we missed.
Yeah, we forgot about him.
Here's the 2-0. Thought about pulling the trigger, could not. 2-1. Here's the former Tiger, Brian Pena.
He had a good year. Yeah, for the Tigers that one season that he spent there.
What a good guy, too.
Yep, always had a smile on his face.
Big rip there by Barnhart. So Knudsen trying to get a 1-2-3 here in the 7th inning and calm things down after that 10-run 6th. The 2-2 lifted back out of play. Knudsen began the year at Double-A Erie, made 8 appearances for the Seawolves. And called up from Toledo. There's Badenhop waiting on deck. The pitcher spot due next. Foul tip. Did he hold on? Did not. 2-2.
Ooh, that one snuck underneath the face mask just a little bit. Left collarbone.
Solidly hit the center field, maybe more. It's going to be run down by Ghost. Barnhart going to second, and he's in with a stand-up double.
And Barnhart got himself a really good 2-1 fastball from Knudsen, and he overswung at that particular fastball. This fastball he did not overswing at and hit an absolute frozen rope right back up the middle for a stand-up double.
So the Reds add another hit to their totals. 7th double of the year for Barnhart. And that is the 9th hit now for Cincinnati. Here's Badenhop. Breaking ball low, 1-0. Badenhop batting .094 in his career. One ball, one strike. Badenhop ever so slightly has that front foot bailing out of the box as the pitch comes home. He's down in the count now, 1-2. Inside, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Tigers have used 4 men out of the bullpen in this game. They had trouble finding anybody to get an out in the 6th out of the pen. And there's one that just missed. That was 3-2. How close was it? A smidge low.
Yep, just a touch low.
Look out. And ricochets in the dugout.
Man, oh man.
I'll tell you what, even with that fence in front of the dugout, balls still find their way in there and just rattle around. Yeah, might as well use the chair.
Anything.
Little chopper hit to the right side. Miguel will take care of it. Step on the back for the out. That'll end the inning. Nothing comes of a 2-out double. 7 in the books here in Cincinnati. His first at bat since his return from an injury, activated from the 60-day disabled list. And Chris Bryant, well, how about a 2-run walk-off home run today against the Indians?
Well, they might as well give him Rookie of the Year in the senior circuit, right?
I would imagine, yeah. I mean, at this point, I'd have to look at it, but I don't know if there's anybody any better.
No.
CC Sabathia on the disabled list. I was listening to their game the other day, and CC had to come out, and it sounded like it was something that would put him on the DL.
He was having a difficult year. 24 starts for CC this season, 527 earned run average. And the opponents were hitting .297 against CC.
J.J. Hoover will come on and pitch now for the Cincinnati Reds here in the 8th.
He's had a nice year. His whip is under 1. He has struck out 40 and walked 22, and the ERA is sparkling at 1.884 in 55 games for Hoover.
And that leads their staff in appearances. It'll be Romine to lead things off, then Rajai Davis, and then Anthony Gose. First one is fouled away, 0-1. Romine tonight is 1 for 3, had a double way back in the first inning. That's when the Tigers got off to that great start. They scored 4 runs. They jumped out to a 5-0 lead eventually. Then it all fell in the 6th inning when the Reds scored 10. Ball outside to Romine, 1-1. That'll miss inside. 2 balls, 1 strike. Hoover earlier this year had a season high 16 consecutive appearances scoreless streak. Trying to take care of Romine here in the 8th. And he missed time with it. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Romine fouls it away to stay alive. Rajai Davis on deck. Came on in the double switch last inning. Bouncing ball to second. That'll be an easy play for Phillips. Romine hustling down the line is out, 1 away. Well, bring your group to see the Tigers host the Angels tomorrow through Thursday with the team building ticket package. Gate tickets, t-shirts, and food for only $34 per person. Visit tigers.com/group for more information. 1 away. First at bat for Rajai Davis. Swing and a miss. All right, we've seen it all season long with this Tigers team now. Certainly with the offense they've been able to put up. They should probably have won more games than they have at this point. And the pitching certainly, I think, will be addressed in the offseason, specifically the bullpen. But we've learned year after year the bullpen can be the toughest thing to kind of figure out.
Yeah, it has been for the last 4 or 5 years for this particular club. They get to the postseason every year, but they do struggle from a bullpen standpoint. But not only the bullpen, but that starting rotation. I mean, there's some uncertainty there next year. I mean, obviously you have Verlander. You don't know what's going to happen with Simon. Yeah, right now a barking shoulder for Anibal Sanchez.
Just off the plate.
But they have candidates in Boyd and Norris and Farmer. And because of position players next year, really, there's not many openings if you look at the current roster. I mean, Miggy at first, Kinsler at second, Iglesias at short, Castellanos is going to be the third baseman, unless they make a trade or two. Ghost figures to be in the mix in the outfield along with J.D. Martinez. So, really, left field is one of the few question marks as far as the offense is concerned for next season. McCann will be the catcher.
Again, the 2-2. And a ground ball to second. Phillips handles this one. Sharply hit. Rajai is out.
Yeah, but they definitely need to figure out a way to get some guys to trot out of that bullpen and get them some outs.
Well, here you go. Here's been the difference for the Tigers. Look at all the offensive numbers they have been able to put up this year.
Yeah, but when you have that pitching staff that ranks 14th in earned run average, opponents batting average at 13, and And really just not a good season overall by Tigers hurlers this year. It's not because they haven't worked hard.
Goes, takes strike one. Anthony in the ball game, fly out, ground out, pop up. He also has a bunt single. Back to monitor, 1-1. Baden hops through a scoreless 7th inning, and now Hoover here in the 8th. Here's the 1-1 pitch. A little bit high, 2 balls, 1 strike. Reds came into this game having lost 9 consecutive contests. They were down 5-0. They looked dead most of the first few innings, first 5 innings, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, they did.
And out of nowhere, they hit a couple of home runs to get back in the game and then poured on a total of 10 in the 6th inning.
You brought this up in that 6th inning after that 1 home run by Phillips, then the bunt single by Frazier, which was a key play in this game.
Yeah,
key play.
And it gets lost with all the big hits they had in that inning. That'll back him out of there again, and the count fills on Ghost now, 3-2. Reds really hadn't had a whole lot of success in interleague play. They were 6-13 coming into this one tonight against the American League. 3-2 pitch. Ghost fouls it back. Ian waiting on deck. Another foul back out of play, right to the screen.
Last couple of fastballs at 95 probably would have been called balls, but Ghost able to foul them off, especially when a guy like Hoover that has that mid-90s fastball. There's really not a lot of time to determine whether that ball is going to be in the strike zone or not.
In the air, center field. Bourgeois is on the run. He stretches out and makes the catch.
He got a great jump on that ball. Looked like he was headed to the left center field gap.
It had double written all over it. Bourgeois, nice running play. Tigers go 1-2-3 in the 8th. The 8th here in Cincinnati, and you can't come to Cincy without thinking about Sparky Anderson, who of course was such a tremendous manager in both of these towns, Detroit and Cincinnati. Here's some of the superlatives.
couple of World Series titles with the Cincinnati Reds in '75 and '76, and of course in 1984, and was able to accomplish that as a manager of the Detroit Tigers.
George Lee Anderson.
He's one of the most confident men I think I've ever been around. He had a lot of confidence, man, in everything that he did. He just walked around with a tremendous amount of swagger. I'm serious.
A lot of energy, too. Schumacher leading it off as we go to the bottom of the 8th.
I've told this story many, many times on this air. In 1976, I had a chance to come to Cincinnati and watch the first 2 games of the World Series against the New York Yankees, and our team was honored on the field, our American Legion team. We had just won the World Series, the American Legion World Series that year, and they allowed us to come to the World Series first 2 games. As a matter of fact, we stayed at the same hotel as the Yankees were staying at.
What a thrill.
Had a chance to meet Sparky Anderson that year, not knowing that I'd get a chance to play for him in 1984.
Yeah, so this was before you were a pro.
Yeah, I signed the very next season. I was in the 11th grade.
So what was it like playing for Sparky?
It was fun. I mean, he was the guy that got everything out of you. He was one of those guys that the regulars, obviously they did their own thing because they were very, very talented. But I can remember it like it was yesterday. All the role players, all the bench players, every single day about 15 minutes before batting practice was over, Sparky would go out in center field, and then he would make us run sprints. He made sure you as a bench player got your sprints in, and he went out there and watched you do it every single day. Every day.
I thought you were going to say he ran out there and ran sprints with you, but
he was in good shape. Sparky was walking around the field every day with Ernie Harwell. They got their exercise in together.
Here's the 1-2 coming home to Schumacher, who looks at the ball low.
And Roger Craig, of course, was on that staff. He was a pitching coach, and he was a great one, went on to manage. Gates Brown was the hitting coach. Billy Consolo, his buddy from high school, was the first base coach. Alex Grammis. It was a good staff.
Sparky out of Dorsey High School in L.A. 2-2 on Schumacher. Reaching and lifting in the air toward left. And that'll be routine for Rajay Davis. 1 gone. That'll bring up Eugenio Suarez. Aroldis Chapman is warming up in the bullpen. The flame-throwing Aroldis Chapman.
He hadn't pitched in a while.
Tuesday. So yes, indeed, that is almost a week, and he's going to have to go through Kinsler, Cabrera, Martinez. Suarez had a couple of big at-bats in the 10-run inning. He shoots that one foul down the right field line. 2-run double and a solo homer, and really a solo homer gave them some semblance of life. They had nothing going, only 1 hit before that home run made it 5-1, and then they were off and rolling. And missing low, and that runs the count to 1-1. One and two. Here's the 1-2. Way outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. We assume Chapman will come in the 9th inning, and if he does, that Chapman-Cabrera matchup will be fun to watch. Of course, Kinsler, Cabrera, JD, all 3 really good hitters.
All 3 of those guys have had nice days, too.
Knutson came on in the 7th, gave up a 2-out double, no damage though. Trying to get through the 8th. Tigers tonight have gone with Albuquerque, Gorsolani, Feliz, Knutson. Again, back out of play as Suarez continues to hang tough here. Alfredo Simon will throw game 1 tomorrow night against the Los Angeles Angels against Jared Weaver. Bouncer foul. As promised earlier in the game, we have selected the Data Strong fan photo of the game. Tweet your strongest fan photo to hashtag Detroit Data Strong Fan for a chance to have it shown in an upcoming broadcast. It's brought to you by T-Mobile.
It's a nice photo.
Yeah. Here's the 2-2. Drilled to left field. Here comes Davis. And Rajay plays it on one hop. It's a 3-hit game for Eugenio Suarez.
Yeah, Knudsen continued to throw him breaking ball after breaking ball after breaking ball, and finally getting up one high enough where Suarez was able to barrel it up for a single.
So hits in each of his last 3 at-bats for the former Tiger, and that'll bring up Joey Votto, who's done nothing but walk all night, it seems. 3 base on balls, one of them intentional.
He does that every night. He now has 102 base on balls this year.
Votto sends it high in the air and deep into right field, and there's an exclamation point for the Cincinnati Reds. He hit it 3/4 of the way up the bleachers up there.
JD Martinez in right field didn't even move. And why would he?
Not even a courtesy look. That thing was hit so hard. Joey Votto with his 24th of the year. 12-5 ball game.
Votto usually one of those guys that takes the first pitch too, but he wasn't taking there. That's a sinker ball that really just doesn't do a whole lot.
Man, oh man, look where this thing lands.
Second homer that Knudsen has given up since coming to the big leagues. He gave up one to Odor, the second baseman of the Texas Rangers, in his major league debut.
Here's Brandon Phillips. Phillips also has a homer in this game, 2-run shot in the 10-run 6th. 3 home runs tonight for the Reds. I feel kind of bad for Buck Farmer because, Rod, he looked so good tonight, and he gave up that home run to Suarez, and he walked Votto, and the home run to Phillips, and it just kind of fell apart quickly for him.
He threw some nice pitches in the game today, early in the game. Some good changeups, bottom of the strike zone. He kept the fastball out of the middle of the plate.
Into right field for Martinez, and that is out number 2. And let's check in now with Johnny Kane with a preview of tonight's Tigers line.
Yeah, guys, well, you talk about Buck Farmer there again, very close to picking up his first major league win. We're going to catch up with him a little bit later here. Also, you know, JD Martinez, there's some good things that happened tonight. He hit his 33rd home run, good enough for a tie for 4th best in the American League. Nick Castellanos hit one out as well, but of course the big story of the night was what transpired in the 6th inning. We'll get Brad Ausmus's thoughts on that. Trevor Thompson holding it down inside the Coliseum Studios. We'll bring some highlights and reaction from across Major League Baseball, and it'll be an interesting show, guys. We'll send it back up to you.
All right, Johnny, thanks. Well, here is Todd Frazier now with 2 outs. Swings right through the fastball in 93.
You know, one of the biggest things for a Buck Farmer when he gets his next start is the fact that when you get through that lineup one time, second time, third time through, you got to start to make some adjustments. And just like the Cincinnati Reds made against him today. And once he's able to do that, he'll pitch a little bit deeper in games and he'll win a few big league games. Or if he's not able to make those adjustments second and third time through, he'll find himself working out the bullpen. But he definitely has a good enough arm to compete at this level.
Farmer tonight did not give up a hit until the 5th inning. 0-2 on Todd Frazier. That home run, by the way, for Votto was estimated at 442 feet out there.
Really?
Right field. That's a poke. Now Knutson again with the 0-2. Swing and a miss. That'll end the inning. However, the Reds had 2 more runs on the Votto home run. We are on our way to the 9th inning in Cincinnati. The top of the 9th inning, last call for the Tigers. It is 12-5 now. Cincinnati in the lead, and they brought in their closer here, Aroldis Chapman, who hasn't pitched in almost a week.
He's got a fastball that will reach triple digits. He's only blown a couple of saves this year, 24 of 26 in that department. Sparkling earned run average, but take a look at the strikeouts. 89 strikeouts in only 50 games for Chapman.
So Chapman will go to work against Kinsler, Cabrera, and J.D. Martinez with a 7-run lead.
In his 50 appearances this year, he has recorded at least 2 strikeouts in 33 of those.
Man. Did he pitch in that game here?
We saw him here, and we saw him at Comerica Park, I believe. I think we've seen him twice this year. And he looks very impressive in both outings.
Well, on Tuesday night, he gave up a home run to Ben Zobrist in a 1-1 game, and that snapped a streak of 56 straight saves he had here at home. Kinsler has a 3-hit game tonight, and the first one is outside at 99 miles an hour.
He's just getting loose.
Here's a 1-0. Outside again. 2 balls, no strikes. Each ball club with 11 hits in this game. And a strike called. A high strike to Kinsler. Ian's been on base 4 times, had a walk in his other at bat. The 2-1 on the outer edge, 2-2.
Every single fastball sitting at 99 thrown by Chapman.
Cabrera waiting on deck. Thought about going after it, did not. 100 miles an hour. 3-2. Goes another fastball. And he walked him. Leadoff base on balls for Kinsler on base 5 times. Fans follow the Tigers all season in 2015 with MLB.com at Bat, the #1 app for live baseball. At Bat is up to the moment at any moment with in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcast, StatCast, and more. Get MLB.com at Bat on your smartphone or tablet. So here is an intriguing matchup. Cabrera facing Chapman. Miggy 2 hits tonight, including a double. Runner going to second base, and it's fouled off. Cabrera knocked in a run with his double back in the 4th. Runner goes again, ball high. They will give Kinsler second base indifference, no steal.
Every pitch Chapman has thrown since coming into the game have been fastballs. 99 and above with all 8 of them.
Way high, and you can tell that he hasn't pitched in a while as he misses wide again.
Yeah, everything up in the strike zone. An indication that he might be rushing a little bit in his delivery.
2 balls, 1 strike. In on his hands, and he pulled it foul. 2-2.
Yeah, first breaking ball thrown by Chapman. And a slider at 85.
Chapman 36 saves last year, 38 each of the previous 2 years. Little tapper. It's going to go down the third base line, stay fair, and it's not in time at first. Pulled him off the bag. Votto came off the bag to stop that ball, and the Tigers have 2 men on now.
It appeared that Barnhart, the catcher, made the right decision. Didn't look like this ball was going to roll foul. And with Miguel running down the line, he felt like he had time to throw Miggy out, and he would have thrown Miguel out had he thrown the ball to the first baseman. In the air, Votto.
They're going to want to look at this.
What are they going to say? Miggy was running in the baseline?
He clearly was off the bag, wasn't he?
Wow.
They're going to look at this.
I mean, I don't really know what they're questioning here, but if they are questioning him running in the baseline there, I mean, with a 7-run lead in the 9th inning?
Well, we'll take a look at it again and see. But yeah, you're right. I don't think there's anything else they could be arguing here.
The ball did not hit Miggy's front foot, did it? They could not be arguing that it was a foul ball, could they?
I don't think so. Officially, the challenge is whether or not he's safe at first base. So I guess they're going to want to take a look at whether or not Votto's foot was off the bag. Obviously, it depends on when the ball was in the glove because his foot clearly came off the bag. But did he have it on long enough to record the out? Cabrera wants his infield hit. Ball is caught right there. Just hard to tell where the foot is. It appeared it was off. But to your point, It's 12-5.
Yeah.
Then again, in this ballpark.
Yeah.
You got a chance to get it out, you might as well take it.
And it's a free challenge, too.
Right? Call on the field is safe at first base. We'll see if it is changed. Well, he might have had his foot on there. Always out. Wow. Well, score one for Brian Price.
Yep, challenge worked out for him.
One gone with a runner at third. Miggy now barking. Is he barking at the home plate umpire? So here's J.D. Martinez. Kinsler at third down with one out. 3-run shot early in this game for J.D. in the first inning. Got the Tigers off and rolling. Ball one high as Chapman continues to miss. Martinez also a double. That led off the seventh, but they couldn't get him in. That's in there, a strike.
Yeah, he finally got a fastball down. He slowed down his motion, allowed the arm to catch up, and threw that ball straight downhill at 99 miles an hour.
Swing and a miss.
Ooh, that's dirty. That's filthy. 99 with the previous pitch, then he comes back with a slider that looks like a fastball coming out of his hand until the last couple of feet. And as a hitter, by then it's too late to stop your swing.
So Chapman now with the 1-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Whoa. 102 to 85. Were you surprised he didn't move at the trade deadline somewhere?
Yep, I was. I really was. That's low, and now the count goes 3-2. I mean, what a unique weapon coming out of your bullpen. And again, he hadn't pitched in almost a week, so he's certainly not sharp here.
There were some people out there saying that had Chapman been available, he would have commanded more than any other pitcher out there that was traded. David Price, Cueto, all of them.
Yeah, he went around, strike 3, and Martinez is out of there. Chapman gets his first strikeout. So Iglesias now will pinch hit for the pitcher spot. And the Tigers down to their final out. Iglesias got the night off tonight. Romine starting at short. He'll get a pinch hitting appearance here. Two outs and a runner at third base. Way high and in. Iglesias spins out of there to 100 miles an hour. Here's the 1-0. 2-0. Castellanos waiting on deck. 3-0. Here's the 3-0 pitch. And he lost it, ball 4. Pinch hit walk. Second walk of the inning now for Chapman. 2 on, 2 outs. for Castellanos. Nick in the ballgame tonight, solo homer and a walk. His home run back in the first inning was his 14th of the year. Runner will break to second. Fly ball, right field, should do it. Jay Bruce under it, and that is that. A tough loss for the Tigers tonight. They led 5-0 early, and they fall 12-5.
Well, just like we promised you earlier in the game, it is Miller time, and it is brought to you by Miller Lite. Buck Farmer simply cruising into the 6th inning. He had only given up 1 hit, and then the balls just start flying out of the ballpark. Suarez with a solo shot, 2-run shot for Phillips, a double by Bruce, and then they started blooping in balls down the left field line, blooping in balls down the right field line. They also were aided with 4 base on balls, a couple of stolen bases. When you add it all up,